Welcome to another live. This is a quick stop by to say hello to you all. It's been a while, people. How are you? I see 4 people are here. Do you mind dropping a comment so I can say hello to you personally? What a year, 2020. I'd like to hear how things are going for you. What are you up to? How has 2020 treated you so far? And if there's anyone here from Jamaica, maybe you want to tell me how the election has gone. Hello. I'm having a hard time seeing my screen as usual. God favored me. Bless up yourself. I can't make that out. Is that spirit? How are you? Is anyone here in Jamaica or from Jamaica? Bless up yourself. No, a long time, right? I'm good. What is that spirit? I'm having a hard time making out those letters. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Anyone here from Jamaica? Anyone here still living in Jamaica if you are Jamaican? Just curious to see how or what you think of the election. And who do you think is going to win? Or is this a win-win situation for anybody? Yes. Yes, God favored. I'm happy to hear that. That's all we need, right? Just more blessings and to know that we're favored. Um, God favored me. Are you in Jamaica or you're outside? You're in Jamaica. Okay, so what is the climate like now with election today? And who do you think is going to win? You're outside. Did you vote today? Anyone else here in Jamaica or from Jamaica? You didn't vote. Is there a reason why you didn't vote? God favored me. Why didn't you vote? God favored me. Or you don't mix up with politics? Okay. Well, you know what I was thinking? That what I would have liked to see is that the whole country, as much of them as possible, turn out for the election today. But what I would want them to do is to put an X on the face of the bell and on the face of, I think the other one, it's a bell. And what is the other symbol? One is the bell, that's the JLP. And then the other symbol is head, right. So it would have been nice if everyone turned out and marked an X on the head and an X on the bell so that all those ballots would have to be thrown out. I think that would have sent a very strong message to the government. Oh, hi, Brittany. How are you? Yeah. Yes. How you been? I haven't seen you in a while. I heard from you. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, so it would have been nice to see the whole country turned out and put their X's that after this is over today, and which, one of the things that is really sad to see, I see people fighting and arguing over these politicians. Exactly. Only 1% of the people are benefiting from politics in Jamaica, to be honest with you. People are actually arguing and fighting over these politicians who couldn't care less. And with this election, truthfully, it was called, and I just don't understand why election was called at this time when there's a pandemic, and apparently a pandemic that is getting worse. So it just makes it seem like these guys really don't care about anybody else but themselves. Anyway, I'm not going to get into their business too much. I just wanted to come by and say hello to you and just to say something that, for the ones who went out to vote today, that I hope the individual that they elect is going to be there for them for the rest of this year and into next year when things get really, really terrible, because that's what is about to unfold. I see they're locking up people for not wearing masks, and that was very sad to see. But that's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about how the poor people are going to cope with what is coming. Because some serious things are coming, people. Some serious things are coming, and it's very scary. And one of them is famine. I have no doubt. I am 100% sure that there will be some serious shortage of food, not just in Jamaica, in the world, but in Jamaica in particular. I think they're going to feel it a lot. And I think there's a lot more um, serious things that their government have not told them. And I'm saying, brace for it, people. On 4 different occasions, and I trust my spirit, I trust my creator, I trust my guides. They never, ever lie. And on 4 separate occasions, I see symbols that indicate famine, pure hardship in Jamaica. And it's so scary because while these people should be banding together and coming together to support each other and to understand that they're going to need each other, they're out there fighting for politicians who could care less. The current prime minister, out of his own mouth, said that he's not trying to create social network. He's creating wealth. And if you're creating wealth, only people who are wealthy can enjoy that. Bless up yourself, Ellen. Only people who are wealthy can actually participate in that, because the wealth creation is, making luxurious buildings and real estate, and people who are entrepreneurs, the Chinese people coming into Jamaica and getting all these incentives to do business there, they're going to benefit. There's a shortage of chicken back already. Let me tell you something, people. I feel like if I don't come here and say this, and I know I've said it before, I might put a post here and there, and sometimes I'm a bit shy when I'm saying these things, but I just want to record it here tonight to say it's not just chicken back that's going to go scarce. Cornmeal, flour, rice, food. And, when we hear that there's going to be a second wave, you best believe there's going to be a second wave. And for those people who say they're not taking any vaccines, let me tell you, it's going to be very hard for you not to take these vaccines, because how it's being set up, it's going to be difficult for you to survive or to participate in certain things unless you are taking these vaccines. So a lot of people are very strong right now and they say, I won't take it. I will not take this vaccine. And I'm going to tell you, that's pure BS. That's a lie. The majority of the people will take it because a lot of people are not very strong. Chicken coming from China. Okay. I don't even want to wear clothes that comes from China, to be honest with you. Good night, Poetic Lifestyles. Hi, Natalie. How you doing? Yeah, I haven't come live in a long time, but I just thought I'd stop by and just say hello to you folks. You know, those of you who are here on this live, you're the people who usually support me in general. You know, you're the ones who, when I post those videos, you know, as soon as I post them, you watch them. I thank you so much. I really, truly appreciate it. And as much as my channel is growing, I'll never forget these people who have been here with me long before you could put my name in Google and see it pop up. Mark of the Beast, a come, and a sneak in a, yeah, of course. I think the beast was always here. This beast has been here for hundreds of years, but you know, when you see prophecy about to be fulfilled, remember also too that man writes certain things and they want to make sure that they bring it through. I have been crying because of this year. Any advice to relieve my pain? Can you please reach out to me? Reach out to me, and we'll talk privately, okay? Local boy, forgive me, guys. I'm not seeing the comments so well. Okay. So reach out to me at Jenniren, JENNIRREN, at gmail.com and we could talk privately. But believe me, you're not alone. This year, and from the very beginning of the year, I said this was going to be a year of fire. And I'm sure I haven't seen anything yet. I believe the vaccine will be just like the mandatory wearing of the mask, or people will be charged. Yeah. I was very surprised to see people locked up in Jamaica for not wearing a mask. That to me is very scary. Hi Ben, how you doing? New World Order, agenda, seek out the treasure. Okay, I will check that out, Ellen. Is anyone scared about what you've seen so far or what you think is coming up? Hello, Biville. How are you? Anybody scared about what this thing? I don't think you should be afraid, because you know how I feel about fear. Not to fear, but fear itself. But I mean, we're human beings. Do you ever get to this point where you say, if I'm forced to make certain decision, I don't know what I'm going to do? Your word for the kids. Anyone here with kids that are in school? And if so, are they going back to school? Are you electing to bring your kids to school, or are you going to keep them at home? And what do you think about that? Would you send your kid, because I still have a 12-year-old child, would you send your child back to school? Yeah, a lot of people. I'm a teacher, and let me tell you, it was very, very difficult. From March until July, I was wondering, well, June, I was wondering what some people were doing, some parents who don't have the skills to teach their kids at home. So again, some kids are going to fall behind because even though teachers are there who are supposed to be leading it, I found that I heard from my daughter's teacher once, you're not sending your kids, your grandkids, Biville. I don't want to say why not, because that seems like the sensible thing to do. But what about folks who don't have that choice? They have to go to work. They have to. I think that's what's facing a lot of people who are, in a low socioeconomic situation. They don't have or they can't afford to pay for childcare. They introduce. Where are you? Where are you, Poetic? Which country are you in again? I forget. You're saying that they're issuing fines for people not wearing masks? No, you are only asked to wear a mask here when you go in any establishment. But as soon as you come out, you can take it out. There's nobody arresting you for not wearing one. And I'm thinking definitely, I mean, it's the poor. The poor people are going to suffer the most, as is usual. Fear is debilitating. I'm vigilant in every area. I'd rather die free than to be enslaved. Yeah, I feel the same way, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do, or if I even want to say what I'm going to do publicly. Because sometimes when we say we won't do anything, we do just that. I'm in Trinidad, okay, and Tobago, yes. So people are being charged. So the thing about it is the fact that people are going to be fined, more than likely, it is going to be the ones who already don't have this money, the ones who are already struggling. They're the ones who always have to face the music when it comes to laws. Because people who have money can get great lawyers to get them off. Um, I think it's more than just depopulation. I think a lot of people are going with that this is about depopulation. I'm not sure it's 100% all of that. I know that there will be a national registry. I think that is more important than even trying to depopulate because at the end of the day, realistically, mankind cannot destroy the earth even when they try. And mankind doesn't have the power to, eradicate the creator's people. They can try and they can succeed in sometimes. And we might say, well, yeah, they're doing this and they're getting away with it. But those folks who succumb to these pressures didn't succumb to it because these men were powerful. They succumbed because it was their time to depart, time for them to leave this world or to transition to the next world. I really don't give men too much power because I think because we do that as human beings, they have this false sense of superiority. Okay, that's a good thing, Beville. That's a nice way to contribute because yeah, some of these kids are not able to stay home and participate in the online learning because they don't have these facilities, these things. Yeah, yeah. I think we give them too much credit. And when we sit back and allow these individuals to, people, human beings like me and you, people, broken people, a lot of time, a lot of these persons who come out and say that they're powerful, they're very broken. If you were to be a fly on their wall and see what's going on with them and see the kind of demons they're facing and fighting, you'd be surprised. Okay, you would never, no, well, I'm trained, I'm a trained teacher, so I don't see why I would subject my child to that because the problem is in the winter time, she usually gets sick anyway. She usually get a cold or whatever. So to send her out during this, and what would be a common cold, someone would try to make that into something else. Our government means business. What do you mean? Mean business? Mean that they're gonna be good slave boys and girls? Bless up yourself, LM. Thank you so much. You too. Have a good time. Have a good rest until another time. Yeah. A lot of times I'm very angry with people, how we just hand over our power to other human beings, to other men and women like ourselves. And they always send us very strong message about how they feel about us, and we don't listen very well to that. We don't pay attention to the messages that are sent to us. For example, I think the opposition leader in Jamaica says, if he doesn't win the election tonight, he's going to quit. And I'm trying to figure this out. Is it about power or is it about the people? Which is a dumb question I'm asking. But to say you're going to quit if you don't win, ah, wow, that doesn't sound good. Yeah, you pretty much must determine your own situation and not give people too much power. I hate it. I hate when people talk as if, these folks, like even the whole situation with the virus and what could or possibly could be the reason for all of this. But when they listen to people talk, they have surrendered even before they know what truly is happening. I do believe, I'm not in denial that something is happening. I'm not in denial that people are dying, um, because it's obvious, and I know people who have passed away. I don't believe everyone who's passed away and given that title are the reason for death, but I do believe that there's something going on. I don't think the whole world would shut their doors. Schools would be closed, not in a country like this anyway. Schools are closed, businesses are closed, people have lost money. A lot of people are in financial trouble because of this. And I don't think people are going to go that far on just a whim or just a line. The severity of this thing so far in 2020 indicates that there's something very serious happening and about to happen. And when they close the doors on 2020, I don't think things will ever go back to being the same. Okay. A lot worse is going to happen because when you're in the Caribbean, I find Caribbean leaders, they're very good puppets. And so they will do things to their own people that even the ones who give them direction to do them will not do it to their own people. They don't care about the people. It's all about their ego and living a life of luxury on the taxes of hardworking Jamaican taxpayers living below the so-called poverty line. But God favored me. The people allow it. These are a handful of people that are in parliament, and Jamaica has 2 point something million people. How can these folks get away with these things for so many years? And these guys are not, they don't lie. I've seen politicians talk about each other's party, talk about corruption, name them out. The amount of the years of corruption, all the bad things that they've done, both parties pointing finger at the other one. They didn't hide it. They're fully aware that, they're corrupt. And they publicly declare it. Say you did this. Okay, how about, when you did this? And the people hear all this stuff and they still go out and fight each other in the street to vote for people who could care less. Now, I'm not saying that every politician there, every one of these people in government um, don't care about anybody. I'm sure there are people in local government or people who, certain riding or whatever, who might actually treat their people well. There's always going to be the exception to the rule, but in general, it's an old boys club, and I can understand why they changed nothing because they were not ever held accountable. No one ever asked them or demanded that they do better. So imagine after this election, um, I don't even know what they offer these people because they don't have to offer Jamaican people anything. for them to vote. It's like I'm PNP for life or I'm JLP for life. And I don't think people who live overseas, especially Jamaicans in the diaspora, I don't think we can influence them to change their attitude about their own best interest or well-being. They're quick to attack you for someone who does not care about them. So this election, it's much the same, except, um, you know, after it's over and done, they'll understand why it was called, when it was called, and they will see some things that they wish they had stayed home. If you are in Jamaica or wherever you are in the world, this is the time to start preparing for the worst. You're very inspiring, but don't grab those cans of herbs. Can you tell me what you mean? I'm not sure I understand. And I promise you guys, next time I come and I have to bring my glasses. Yeah, what do you mean? Don't grab those cans of hers. Anyway, maybe I kind of think I figured that out. No, don't bother saying it. I think I figure what you're saying. Yeah, when people are not educated, they can be easily led. Listen to me. There are a lot of people who are very educated and they're just as dumb or worse because when someone is not educated and they are misguided and easily misled, I get it. But when you are, and I see a lot of people who are very educated who just take it under the chin and they don't complain, and if they even complain, they're complaining to the wrong people, and they don't realize that the power is in the hand of the people. Regardless of who runs things, we still have power to change our own destiny individually. And we still have the power to say no to people or to certain situations. And the most important thing is, it doesn't matter how big and bad and bold, these ones appear to be. They're flesh and blood like me and you. They can only do what you allow them to do. If you look at that whole principle about saying people do to you what you allow them to do to you, take it even in your own private life. The moment you put your foot down and you say no more, people, no matter how quiet you are, people have to listen. They have to listen. So people are not asking for what they deserve or not demanding what they deserve. They're in the street fighting each other in every area, especially where Black people really have issues when they should be coming together. They don't come together for nothing except violence or separating themselves based on some strange things, to be honest with you. So the back to school thing is on a lot of people's minds. And even though we're told that we have the option not to send the kids to school, time is going to come when people are going to say you don't have that option anymore. Because, in this time, after everything is done, a lot of what you think was your right will be taken from you. Political fascination is very dangerous. Religious or fanaticism, okay, is very dangerous. Millions have suffered and died because of these corrupt leaders that lead these people astray. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, corrupt politics and religion was always meant to be a divisive tool, and the people gladly allow, that they allow it. Now, one of the things that is very disappointing for me is I see so many people come out and shed light on the truth about all kinds of situations, and people are not very receptive to it. They hear it, goes in one ear, it comes through the other ear. But as soon as they're told a lie, they believe it. So it's very discouraging. And the thing is, why should people come out and risk their life to educate people about, things that they should be paying attention to? And after they're done putting themselves and their life and their family at risk by educating people about things that are important for them to know, these same ones that you're here trying to educate are the same ones who will just grab you and hand you over, and nothing will change. And the mind isn't safe, people can be easily, of course. Like I've voted in the past, not in Jamaica, but I've voted here. And the truth is, I see why people vote here, because you vote for change. And when people make promises here, they have to deliver. They can't just say, I'm going to do this and don't do it. They don't have no such thing as every 4-year election. Election can be called at any time. I've seen people get voted out soon after they're elected, and that's what I like about this country. I haven't been voting for a few years, but back then I knew that my vote counted, and the people who represented me in government, I could go to them, and I could seek help, and I would get the help. Unless you have politicians that are doing this, they're useless. They're useless. But I don't get it. I don't understand how people can be hungry and poor and there's no jobs. There's no encouragement for kids to be educated. And we're not talking about just going to get degrees, because nowadays spending your money in Jamaica to send your child to go get a degree is foolishness. You're better off teaching them how to get a skill, because there was a time when you had post-secondary education, and it was a benefit. It was a good thing. But in Jamaica these days, unless you can go, to become a doctor, a lawyer, or some kind of career path, there's no guarantee. And I'm sure even in that, you sometimes have to go away to get jobs. But I don't understand how year after year you see the same kind of politics, and it doesn't change for the poor people. And these politicians, every politician in Jamaica, from what I understand, is rich. What does that have to do serving the people? How do you get to benefit so much financially and the people perish? You know what I mean? They don't ask them questions. They don't hold them accountable. The leaders are very arrogant. The leaders, for the most part, don't feel like they hold no explanation to the people. Yes, of course they will. They're scary. They'll kill you for a politician who would not even stop and say hello. The only time you see these guys out and about is when they're seeking vote. And the people are very forgiving. They're more forgiving of these strangers than the ones that they know in their community. The world is just upside down. And it's still a great year, though. Even though all these things are happening, in my opinion, it's still a great year, because we're getting to understand ourselves better, and we're getting to understand other people. There's some truth coming out that was hidden, and now we're getting a chance to see it. Politics is not for our people. The leaders forget who put them in power. No, man, the people forget that they put the politicians in power. The politicians have not forgotten, Violet. They know that they can count on the people. It's the people who forget that they're the ones who put them there. The onus is not on the government to remember who put them there. The people are supposed to remember that we put them there. We put them there, and so we're going to hold them accountable. They have to answer to us. You can't have a handful of people in a house and claim that they're leaders, and you are the people. Your voice matter. But there is going to come a time when the people, unfortunately, because of frustration, the people are going to come out and remind those politicians um, who is in charge. Because, they say one cocoa full basket. Also remember, when people are held against the wall, if an animal is forced up against a wall, and that animal is going to try to escape, and if you try to stand in their way, they are going to be fierce. I will check that out, Jennifer. Marcus Garvey too. I will check that out. Yeah. So I think they have been playing with fire. The politicians have been playing with fire for too long. And eventually, unfortunately, eventually the people, when their back is against the wall, they're going to regret that they ignored them or neglected them all this time. Well, again, my philosophy is not to try to change other people, is for you to change. You can't try to control other people. You have to control yourself. Well, all Jamaica is a diverse place. I mean, different people. Out of many, we are one. Even though that to me is bogus, it's such a lie. Out of many, we are one people. Mm, I don't know about that. People are getting this. Of course, they are. This is why when you look and see the behavior of some people in Jamaica, it seems like they're so dishonest. That's part of the, I don't know, the trauma. A lot of people are so dishonest. A lot of them cannot be trusted because for so long they see people who are dishonest and who are corrupt that they get by. And so they adapt that. Even small children learn how to deceive. They'll tell you, I'm hungry and I have no lunch money. And when you give it to them, you find out it's not the truth. So, this under the surface is affecting the people's personality and their character. But eventually, I'm telling you, there's going to be reckoning. Really, Jennifer, you think? But there, for example, let's talk about Jamaica right now. Who's dominating Jamaica right now? Because sometimes we have to take ownership. Who's dominating Jamaica and why? Sometimes we talk about the Chinese or the Indians or other folks who are there doing business. I mean, nothing is wrong with somebody trying to make money. And you can't blame these individuals who come to Jamaica. They're invited. A while back, I did this video talking about the kind of benefits that these individuals get to come to Jamaica and invest. Meanwhile, Jamaican people business have to be shutting down their business because they cannot compete with the Chinese, for example. Okay, and whose fault is this? Not the Chinese people. Chinese people doing what is good for them. The Chinese government is standing behind their people and sending them around the world to go and build themselves. I wish they would strike and don't vote, and they would who has the power and see if they really want to help poor people. I think they should do more than just strike because you could strike for so long before the government legislates you back to work. But there's so much more people can do. Yeah, well, everything is sold out, including the morals of the people. So I'll wake up, or maybe tonight I'll stay up until I hear they declare the winner. And it's going to be more of the same. Our Jamaican is traumatized. Absolutely. Trauma is a word. Believe me, no protection. Trust me, this election is gonna be one of those clear signs of what the Jamaican people mean to their government. They're going all over the to take over people's country. No, 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 Violet. The countries where there's a strong presence of Chinese people are invited to those areas, and they're not invading. They're invited, and they're giving these things to entice them to stay. So the problem is not the Chinese people; it's the government that allow them to come. And I'm not saying that they should be allowed. That would be awful. I am from Jamaica and I live in this country. I like when the doors are open and that we can invite people from different places to participate in our culture, but it should be a mutually beneficial move. It should not just benefit the ones who come to exploit, it should benefit the people. Jobs and opportunities should be available to the islanders, you know? And that's the only problem I have. Not that Chinese is there, but the fact that they're there exploiting the people. And the people are foolish too because no, I understand poverty and wanting to get more from it for your money, but they don't realize that that attitude is destroying them because I would never go to Jamaica and shop in a Chinese person's store when a black person has a store, even if I had to pay a little extra. Now, maybe the person who has a lot of kids and doesn't have a job cannot think that way, but sometimes you have to bite the bullet because the folks that I see and know that are building together, these ones, you know, doesn't necessarily have great, individual relationship with each other, but they know when it's important to set aside their differences. I want to come together, and I think that's what black people lack. They don't know when to set aside their differences for the bigger picture, for the greater good of the people, and that's what's destroying us. It's not the politician that's destroying us; it's our individual attitude towards building. There are wolf sheep clothing. Jamaica need to buy black and not build up these people. They're not buying black in America. So I can imagine in Jamaica, for example, where people, most of them are not working and their situation is dire. I don't want to judge them too much on that because if someone has $500 and they have children to feed, and the $500 in a black person's store would not be able to feed them for the night, they're not going to let their kids starve. They're going to go, sorry, and get food, which most than likely is not even real food, but they're gonna get something from the person who's selling it more reasonable. And again, also to black businesses don't know how to get, small profits, over a period of time. They want it now. So sometimes even if they could lower their prices, they want to get rich overnight. So they're not, whereas the Asian people, they go to Jamaica and they say, okay, small profits. And over a long period of time, they get wealthy. A lot is going on in Jamaica. A lot of the violence and crime that you see there is manufactured, if I can use that expression. The only thing I know is whenever the Jamaican government wants anything to end, it has to end. This handling of the COVID business in Jamaica shows me that when they put their foot down, they're serious about it. Um, so when as far as violence and crime is concerned, when they want to eradicate it, it has to go. When it's beneficial for them for it to end, it ends. So anyone here living in America or Canada or even England, what is it like there? What is it like in the States as far as this pandemic goes? How do Americans go about moving to Jamaica and starting business? Send me a message at jennyren@gmail.com and we could talk about that some more. I know there's a lot of incentive for people to come and do business there. And a lot of these people, a lot of the Chinese people are other people from other country that goes to Jamaica and start a business. They're not going there with great capital. They're going to Jamaica's bank to borrow money. Some of them are going there to borrow money to start business in Jamaica. And when the 5 year is up, because they don't have to pay taxes for a certain period of time, when that time is up, they exchange the business to another family member. And Jamaican people are pressured, just trying to do a little convenience store, pressured. In the past, there's another thing that's coming up now too, where if you're living in the countryside and you're poor and you live in a 1 bedroom house, you could save your money and put up on another 1 bedroom. Now, no one is allowed to build a house unless they get permit from the government. And the truth is, how many of these individuals, a person living in one room with 5 kids or more, where they're supposed to get money to pay people to come and draw a plan for them, and then they'll pay money to go bring it to just wherever they will have to go to get approval. So a lot of people trying to build a home or make their place more convenient for their family, or these houses are stocked. It's horrible. Jamaica is the reason it exists. Nobody is left behind or forgotten. I guess Haiti and Jamaica must unite. Why would they? What Jamaicans will never unite with Haiti in this modern time? Because guess what? They already have demonized Haiti. Well, they were demonized by other people, and they gladly accept that the Asians are their enemies. Because every time there's a natural disaster, you'll find Jamaicans be the first ones to come out and tell you it's because they're cursed and because they're evil and this and that. So they'll never join with Haiti. Maybe Jamaicans should work with Americans. What do you mean? Jamaicans always work with Americans. You see a large um, part of our people from our culture, they live in the United States. We are citizens must unite. It's not going to be that easy to unite either because, people, if you see two black persons standing in front of their gate in most places in the world, they're suspect. If Jamaica sucks, so does Haiti. Okay. It's very sad that Haiti has suffered so much when they were the first that fought for their freedom. It is very sad. America and Jamaica has always had a great relationship, Akita. Oh, I see what you're saying. They work together to build. Yeah. Truthfully speaking, if you're a Black American, more than likely Jamaican people are not going to be interested in building with you. But if you're from a different race, maybe. I mean, the little island of Jamaica has so much powerful people. They're not really weak and so talented, and the island is so blessed. But the people don't realize what they have, what they don't value what they have, because if they did, they wouldn't allow government and these different politicians to sell out everything that's theirs and allow them to get away with it. Most Jamaicans are just waiting for the opportunity to leave the island. It- Look at what's happening in America with the pandemic. You still have Jamaicans who would give anything to go there. Jamaicans who are doing very well, have good jobs, or secure financially. I mean, they're not wealthy, but they're okay. They would give that up to go do domestic work in the States. Not to say that domestic work is a bad thing. I'm just saying professional people have given up. A lot of the problems we have in Jamaica is that we don't love our country the way we should. It's all slavery. I don't know. Sometimes we harp too much on the thing about our slavery. We have to take responsibility for ourselves. Because listen, now as much as I know, no other people have been as traumatized as Black people, but there are other people who have suffered at the hand of the same people. They have suffered too, and they somehow found ways to strengthen the ties with each other. After slavery was abolished in Jamaica, the Indians were sent there as indentured servants, and their pain and suffering was not as severe as what happened to African people, but they suffered too. You know, they signed contracts, and when they got there, they found they were deceived. They were told that if you come here for a certain period of time, you're going to gain wealth and you're going to be able to go back home to your country. A lot of these Indian people that are in Jamaica, they're direct and lineage, from India, or people who came there. They were in the, what do you call it, the untouchables, and they were already being treated so badly in India, and they were approached with the idea that if they went to the islands, that they would be able to gain wealth and to go back home to their country, and perhaps get a better standing. And when they got there, some of them were never able to leave. That's why Jamaica has a big population with the Indians. They're the ones who took over. So they suffered too. But for the most part, they didn't allow their suffering to become this permanent noose around their neck. And we keep on saying, this one is so wicked, that one is so evil. And we fail to understand that, listen, when you got your freedom, especially in America, when they got their freedom that they fought for, what did they do? They fight. People say, well, good, they should have a right to go to school with the same people. Why? All the other people in the world who were abused at one point or the other, once they overcome or overcame that, they got stronger as a group. They were not rushing back to the same people and saying, love me, accept me, embrace me. They were not doing that. And I think that's the biggest problem. And I think that is what's evident in Jamaica. The worse you treat the people, the more they love you. The more you treat them doggy. So if you go there with the best of intention and you become a politician and you win, let me tell you, you start treating them well, they're going to disrespect you. They're not going to appreciate you. So, governments know this. They don't want that. So as long as it continues year after year after year after year, it's because it's what they want. Because they have strength for each other. They have big mouth and they have might for each other. Just watch them. Look at the election and watch people fighting each other over these guys who could care less. And most of these politicians, when they retire, they're not going to live in Jamaica. Their children won't live there. They don't respect their own educational system. They don't respect their own, health care. So we're worried about them, but they're not worried about themselves. They love the abuse. All the elections are shows. Oh yeah, because from what I understand in America, it's decided long before the people go to the polls. Like an illusion. Yeah, Jamaicans excel everywhere they migrate. Um, and one of the things I also noticed, Jamaicans will be in Jamaica and they don't respect their land. They don't respect the rules and the culture and whatever of the place. But when they go other place, they fall in line. And it is going to become even a bigger one now. This prison plan that you're talking about is going to be even bigger, as it feels like prison. I feel like I'm in jail. Self, understanding the God in you. You are? Is that a question? Understand the God in you. So I do empathize with the folks there. I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, there are times when I get very angry because I'm saying, oh, we can't just rescue you. Rest yourself. Part of the problem is instead of you seeing yourself as a leader, okay, instead of seeing yourself as a leader, you're always looking for somebody else to lead you. You should know when someone doesn't care about you, you should just cry that they don't cry. You care about yourself, you know? Anyway, it's almost an hour. I thought I'd come on here for a short time. Stay safe, everybody, wherever you are. Stay, keep your eyes open. And as a Jamaican, I don't care where you are. If you live in an apartment, you live in a one room, doesn't matter. You can plant. I live here in Canada, and we plant on our balcony if we live in an apartment. It doesn't matter where we are. We always plant. Get containers and plant our vegetables in it. This is a good time to start doing that. Yeah, building a garden. You know, you don't need a lot of skill to do that. Buy some tomatoes and squeeze the seed out in a pot. It will grow. Exactly. In Canada, I used to live in an apartment, and every year people had this little small little square spot to plant. Some people planted foods on their balcony. I know when my husband first came to Canada, we were in an apartment building, and you should see our balcony. We had every area covered with tomatoes, carrots, potato. Believe me, we planted potato in a pot and it grew. Yeah. So there's no excuse. People need to start planting their own food, start preserving, start putting some things in bottle, preserve some stuff you're going to need them. Folks, even the vegetable, it's better when it's fresh, but it's better having it frozen than not having any at all. So most of our crop that we have, we will not be able to go through it because it's so much. We'll just preserve some of it. Mhm. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me and to spend this time with me. Do you want to see more lives? Would you like me to come on? But if I do, you have to give me the topic. Is there anyone else who would want to see more of these lives? As I said to some folks, I'm not, I'm very shy in real life. And that's why I don't really come on as much. Talking for an hour is like unusual for me, really. I don't follow anyone. I have the direction of my life. My parents planted everything that we eat. Of course, self-reliance, absolutely. We depend too much. And in Jamaica, when I go home to visit, I'm surprised to see the things that some carrots, they're so big, like your thigh. The foods that they're eating, I mean, how can they not see that those are not real food? How can they not see that that's poison? So many people are dying from all kinds of illness because of the foods that they're eating. I just don't understand it. Anyway, everybody, bless up yourselves, stay safe, use wisdom, and I'm going to say that we have to pick our battle. So, for example, you're told to wear a mask. Some people say they won't wear the mask because it's not safe. I understand. But that's not something I want to fight about. I'll wear my mask if I have to go in a store or to do whatever. Even though I hear you don't have to, I'm not going to make a big fuss. If they ask you to wear a mask and you don't want to wear one, it should be a personal choice. But choose your battles. Be smart. Do you want to wear a mask or do you not want to take the vaccine? Those are two different things. You can always wear a mask, but when it comes to putting things in your body, you should really think about it, especially when you see what the agenda is for some folks who have come out and clearly state that they want to vaccinate Black folks, and you ask why. And let's just say this is real and that there's no ill intention. My problem with the vaccine is this. When I hear about the thing, like, for example, those Black men in America who had that what do you call it, that venereal disease. Remember the name of the disease? And when they were doing this test, they took the black men aside and they gave them placebo. And they gave the other folks the real medication and watched the black people die, the black men die or go blind. And I'm saying to myself, because of that, how can I trust you? How can I trust these folks? When history have shown, and sometimes you don't even know about these things that happen. They're the ones who come out and tell you this was done. And yet we still trust. So when it comes to putting stuff into my body, exactly the Tuskegee experiment. Exactly. They watch these people die or go blind. And then these same ones are asking us to trust them now. So, I mean, I don't know. Beville, I know what I'm willing to do and what I'm not willing to do. And I know myself. There are certain times when I have zero fear. I do not fear death. I don't fear certain things. There are times when a certain part of my spirit is activated and I fear no man. And I don't even like taking a pill. I'm diabetic and I've been diagnosed for years and I've not taken any medication. That's how serious this is. And sometimes it's a real battle. Sometimes it's very difficult because I use food to manage it. And there's certain times of the year when it gets more difficult. And I don't take drugs. Even though they say take this or you might whatever. I don't take it. So when it comes to certain things being in my body, I'm very serious. I believe in natural remedies. The plant is my food and it's my medicine. And so I don't see why I would allow some person whose money seems to speak volumes to determine what happens to me and mine. I just kind of have a problem with that, you know? So, guys, each person would have to decide, and I'm not going to judge anyone. If someone says I'm going to take it, yeah, I do use that. I use that a lot of, especially in the winter time. The turmeric and the ginger, it is very good. I use food to manage my health issue. Never taken any medication for it, and people have been trying to push it on me for years. It is well. No one answered me. If you want to see more of these lives, maybe you don't, or you didn't hear the question. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. If and when you ever want to see a live, you know, send me a message. Give me a topic and I will accommodate you if I can. Stay blessed, everybody. Have a good night. Stay safe. Use your wisdom. Sometimes stay silent because silence is also a form of resistance. You don't have to tell persons your last word. You don't have to tell everybody what you're thinking. Sometimes we have to keep our last word to ourselves. So when spirit calls. Yeah. Thank you so much. Blessed yourself, everybody. Have a good night or good morning, wherever you are. No, I haven't done this in so long. I don't even know how to end this. Okay. Good night.